Hello and welcome back to the Content Code podcast. I am your host, Fallon. My name's like Jimmy Fallon, but it's my first name. And today I am actually going to very quickly turn on my Do Not Disturb because the amount of times recently that I have gotten a phone call or something has happened while I was recording is impressive. So that is turned on now, and so I want to tell you what today's episode is about. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of educating. I have a hot take on educating, but it's still really important, I believe, to educate your audience because there are going to be some things that you want to showcase that you are a thought leader, that you have thoughts, that you have opinions and perspectives to bring to the table. So today I'm going to cover with you the 3 essential items that you need for your online business, okay? And these items are not like physical, tangible things per se. Some of them can be physical, tangible things, but they're still pretty, intangible for the most part. So I want to start things off real hot, and I want to tell you the first one, which is community. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I have had a very traumatic experience with the word community, and it's from a prior experience that I had where someone told me that they value community so much, and that person wound up turning around and stabbing several, not just me, but multiple people in the back within her community. And that to me, even though she said she stood for community, that to me says she doesn't actually stand for community. But the reason why I want to bring community up, not to talk about that, is because the community cannot exist without an individual, and the individual cannot exist without the community. They are a symbiotic relationship. One relies on the other, and they need each other in order to survive. And I really want to explain this further using an example, because I feel like examples sometimes are the best way to talk about things. So, I'm going to use the example of a business. You as a CEO are an individual. You exist at the upper echelons of your business, right? So when you as the individual of your business, the leader of your business, you go to talk about your products, talk about your offers, talk about anything that it is that you have to sell or whatever, you want to be sharing it with your community. You, as an individual business owner, a solopreneur, a CEO, however you want to label yourself, you need a community because you are showing up to serve that community, okay? You're there to solve a problem that those people are experiencing. And you cannot exist without that community. You as the individual cannot exist without the community. Now it goes the other way as well. The community cannot exist without the individual. The community of people who are following you because you offer and provide a unique perspective solution to a problem, or just like your personality is a unique personality that they want to have involved in their life. You can offer a unique solution to a problem they're experiencing, whatever it might be. So your solution is needed by that community. Therefore, you need the community, like we covered first, and the community also needs you. Because you offer something special that I can't offer, or Bobby can't offer, or Joe Schmo can't offer. But Bobby and Joe Schmo can offer something just as unique, but it's their unique item, offer, whatever. So it's really important to have that community because it is a symbiotic relationship. And really, if you think about it, if you don't have a community, like, let's just use the ultimate example of what everybody talks about online, which is like, oh, well, what if I need to start an Instagram account? Or like, what if I need to restart my Instagram account? Or what if I need to, create a TikTok account, whatever, and nobody's following me? Duh! Like, of course nobody's going to be following you in the beginning. Like, of course. But the thing is, there will be people who start to follow you as you post and as you put content out there. Because they're going to be like, oh yeah, she's talking about something that I also believe in. Or, I really like her story. I could totally relate to her or whatever. So it's really important that, one, you foster that community, you create that community, so then you can, two, serve that community as the individual. It works both ways. And one thing just to add on into there is when you do end up starting over your account or, creating your account for the first time, keep in mind that sometimes the people who are following you, they might not be coming in droves, but they are the people who actually really enjoy what it is that you have to put out there. They are the people who actually are like, yeah, I like what she's about. I like what she's doing. And they follow you. They choose to follow you. People choose to follow you and to be in your world. Okay? It is their choice. They're saying, yes, I want to be involved with this person. And that's an honor. Like, that is a freaking honor. And the more people that you start to see come into your community, like, damn, the more exciting it's only going to get from there. Okay, it might not be 100,000 people off the bat. That's all right. But enjoy the people that you have. Because if you are going into something and you're like, oh, well, I don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram. And you're like, I want to get 10,000 followers on Instagram. Guess what? If you're focused on the 10,000 followers you don't have, you're never going to get them. You got to be focused on the followers that you do have first. Those followers are probably going to tell you, yeah, I'm feeling something like this, or you're going to have conversations with them about something. Maybe it's human design, or it's their blueprint for their marketing, or how their sales skills suck, whatever it might be. They're going to have these conversations with you. And those are the conversations you also want to have on social media, because 9 times out of 10, other people can relate. And that's how you're going to get 10,000 followers, by nurturing the followers that you have and paying attention to the conversations that you have and doing the tasks and putting out the content that has everything to do with the followers who you have in your current community. Because then guess what? People talk about you. People talk about what you're doing. People talk about the content you're putting out there. People share it. People say, hey, have you heard about so-and-so's new post on, I don't know, the top 10 colleges in 2023? And they'll be like, no, I didn't. I could totally use that article because my brother-in-law's son is going to get ready to apply to college. Whatever, right? You're going to notice these like weird synchronicities just start to pile on up and add up. And it's because you as the individual are relying on your community, and your community is also relying on you. So keep that in mind when you go to create your online business, when you go to even just take the next step tomorrow. If you've been doing this for, 6 years, if you've been in the online space for 6 years, building your business, whatever, then take this next step with you, because focusing on your people is going to get you more and more people. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, you want to have a place that is yours. And for a lot of people, they say, grow your email list, grow your email list, grow your email list. And that's totally, completely fine. I'm 100% about it. Because when you have people's contact information, they're your people. You know how to reach them if you ever need to reach them. Okay? And I think it's really important to have your own place with your own people to share your thoughts, your opinions, your stories, your offers, whatever. So finding a place that you can call your own, that you really enjoy, that you really like, and that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that people are listening, watching, opening, reading, whatever. Like I said before, that could be email, I think for a lot of people, it could also be a podcast. You want to be able to foster a connection in that space that you create. If there is a space that you are calling your own, create the loyal, connected, faithful vibes there. For a lot of people, it could be a podcast. I mean, I think of myself, right? Like, when I talk, my personality comes out a lot more than if I'm typing. I'm just not a writer. I'm just not. As much as I would love to be a writer, and trust me, I have had plenty, my fair share of journal entries where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to write a book. I still do want to write a book. But if I were to write a book, it would probably be written in the same way that I talk. Because I know that the way that I speak resonates with more people. And I know that people tell me that I'm really awesome on video, and I don't necessarily know that it's a video thing. I actually really think it's because of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is resonating with people. How I'm saying it is catching their attention or matching their energy or whatever. And it's because of what medium, whether it's a podcast, like I said, speaking, written, on camera, it's because you are taking advantage of the medium, you are putting out these stories, these content to make the connection, that people are going to be like, yeah, I love her. I'm going to keep listening in and tuning in and reading her emails or reading her captions or reading whatever, reading her books, listening to her podcast. It doesn't matter. And you know what happens when you get more and more people connected in that way? You get people to spend more time with you. And when you got people to spend more time with you, guess what? They're listening to you and your thoughts and your offers and whatever it is that you're talking about so much more. Because the average consumer needs to see something between 8 and 42 times before they buy. I know in my Instagram posts, I'm always like, oh yeah, because people need to see something like 50 times before they decide to buy. It's actually true. And if you do the math, then it turns out that people need to see something a total of 84 times before, if you add in the math for the time, like minutes, hours, days, etc. It's like 84 times, and it comes out between 2 and 4 hours. When somebody spends between 2 and 4 hours of their day with you, guess what? You are impressionable on them. You have just made a lasting impression on them. And they're going to want to stick around. And the best way for you to increase your time spent with someone is to provide a space, an area, container, whatever you want to call it, a realm, for them to spend more time with you. Insert podcast here. Why do you think I started a podcast? Because I noticed that people weren't spending a whole hell of a lot of time with me on TikTok and on Instagram. And as much as I would love to be able to say that there are people that are spending so much time with me on YouTube, that's not true either. Because people, when they're watching YouTube videos, are clicking through, or they're skipping ahead, or they're moving through the ads that are on the videos. So they're not spending all 2 to 4 hours with me, because all they're doing is seeing the video at the spots that they want to see the video, and then they're moving off the video. They're moving on to the next thing. So the places that you can call your own, the places that you can create that you can call your own, always going to be a service to you. Always going to be a necessary item, and they're always going to be very, very important for your business. Another thing that I want for you to consider too, like, there are ads and sponsors that come up every place when you're scrolling on your Instagram feed or on your TikTok For You page. And if you have a place that you can call your own, that you don't have anybody else's bullshit coming up on your consumer's feed, then guess what? That's time and attention spent with you instead of with other people. We could talk about that more on another episode for a different day. So that's the second necessary item, a place that you can call your own. And this leads me to the last necessary item if you're going to be building your business in the online space. And that is, I mean, I feel like you guys know it's coming because it kind of is. You gotta have content. You gotta have content. Really, you absolutely do. Because if you're going to make it at all in the online space, one thing is for sure, certain, this is beyond truth, and you know it. People are consuming content over so much time in the day. I think the average is like, I want to say 90 plus minutes are spent every day on social media. I'm gonna Google really fast the average time spent on social media. Average time spent on social media, since I'm just sitting in traffic right now. 2 hours and 31 minutes daily. That's a whole hell of a lot of time during the day. That is like 2 hours and 2.5 hours, and you have maybe, like, let's just say, I don't know, I wake up at 6 and I go to bed at 9, so that's 13 waking hours. Sorry, no, not 13. 6 to 6 is 12, plus 3, that's 15 waking hours. So 15, 2 out of 15, that's a decent chunk. I want to say that's like almost 10% of my day. 2.5, let's just call it 3. 3 out of 15, that's 20% of my day. You think about that. Your people are on social media for 20% of their day. 20%! Not even 10. 20% of their day, people are on social media consuming content. They're not necessarily creating content, but we know they are consuming content, which means that content is necessary. Content is so important. And the more content you put out there, the more likely you're going to keep people's attention. So, how do you ever anticipate to build an audience and grow your business if you are not taking advantage of learning the skills necessary to create great content? Like, think about it. People, like I just listed out the facts, people are spending 2.5 hours of their day consuming social media. That's 20% of your day. And we know that it's consuming, not creating. So how are you going to ever expect to build or grow your business if you are not taking advantage of creating content that people are obviously going to be consuming? It's just, it makes so much sense to me. Like, it makes so much sense. And, like, I'm not going to be Gary Vaynerchuk where I'm like, you know, make a zillion pieces of content in a day and hustle your face off, because, like, I don't believe in hustling my face off, because if I hustle my face off, then guess what? I'm never going to want to do that shit ever again. I'm going to create an aversion to it in my brain and in my life, and I'm never going to want to do it again. And the thing is that you are trying to build this business because you want the freedom that it provides. You want the time and the finances that it can provide you. And the only way that you're going to do that is if it's sustainable and consistent. And you can't create from a place of unsustainable, inconsistent schedules or content or conversations, whatever. It needs to have both consistency, and it needs to have that reliability, sustainability. Because if it's neither of them, guess what? You're going to be like, peace out, Girl Scout. And if you're doing it, and you're working, then you're going to work your face off into the ground, and you're going to hate it. And then you're not going to want to do it, and you're going to give up, and you're going to peace out, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, I really want this, and you're going to come back, and you're going to do the same thing. It's a cycle, right? So, getting off topic slightly here. However, content is very important. It is an essential. And if you're not creating content consistently, and if you're not putting it out there consistently, people aren't going to see you. People aren't going to hear you or listen from you or read about what you have to write about and say. So content is an absolute necessity. All right. So that all being said, it just kind of adds more fuel to the fire if you're asking me on the content code. And the content code is only going to be open a little bit longer. I don't know if by the time these episodes air, if it will still be offered, because I do have some really exciting new things on the horizon that I have only been dreaming of for 2 years. So you'd think that I would release it by now, and I think now I'm in the right frame of mind to release it. So those things are coming. They're coming down the pike, but I want to give the content code the good old-fashioned college try. I can't not try. I mean, like, I have to try, right? So I'm trying. I'm putting it out there. I'm only going to be talking about it until Friday. This Friday, okay? Consider this is being released in July. And if nothing happens by this Friday, maybe I'll have a round run in October. Maybe I won't. But, I mean August, not October. What the hell am I thinking about? My God, my brain today. But my point is, it's really important to feel good about what it is that you're going to put out there. And, I felt really good about the code for a really long time. I still kind of do, but I have definitely grown and evolved myself. And that's why I'm really excited about these other offers that I'm just going to leave as a little secret for right now. And I'll probably end up talking about them on the podcast very, very soon. In any case, I am always very appreciative for you listening in, and I want to remind you that if you have not yet left a review, to please leave a review, not just because it helps the episode, but also because I am going to be giving away free goodie bags to the first 50 people who leave a review on the podcast. So, be sure, if you leave a review, to screenshot the review and share it on your social media. You could tag me at Fallon.Moran on Instagram, and that way I know who to send a message to send the goodie bag wherever it needs to go. It is always greatly appreciated. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen in and tune in. And as always, if you have any questions, or if you're like, hey, can you dive a little deeper into this one topic that you mentioned on, the podcast? Just let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram, and I would be happy to cover that topic. So until then, talk to you later. Bye.